Today, we're diving into the incredible living lore of the Kondh people of India. So let me start with a question for you. Imagine you have to preserve everything that makes your society tick, your laws, your history, your entire belief system, but you can't write any of it down, not a single word. How would you even begin to do that? How could you possibly make sure nothing gets lost? Well, you wouldn't build a library with shelves and books. You'd have to build a living library. A library where memory is the architecture, and the books are actually myths and songs passed down flawlessly from one person to the next. And that brings us to the Kondh. They are the largest tribe in the Indian state of Orissa, and their rich, complex culture is basically a masterclass in this exact kind of oral preservation. Now, the Kondh aren't just one single group. You can kind of think of them as having two faces. First, you've got the Dizia Kondh. They're more assimilated, they've picked up practices like plow cultivation from surrounding cultures. Then you have the Dongria Kondh. They live up in the remote Neogiri hills, and they fiercely guard their ancient traditions, from the way they farm to the way they dress. But what really unites them is this incredible challenge. Their languages, Kui and Kuvi, don't have their own written scripts. Think about what that means. Every single piece of knowledge, legal rulings, ecological wisdom, their entire history, it all has to be flawlessly memorized. It's this high-stakes cultural balancing act that they perform every single day. Okay, so let's look at the first pillar of this living library, their myths. And let me be clear, these are not just bedtime stories. For the Kondh, these myths are the actual blueprint for their entire society, their constitution, a legal code, and a textbook all rolled into one. And this right here just perfectly illustrates their power. This quote is from the origin story of the Maria sacrifice, which was their most significant, and yeah, historically, their most controversial ritual. You see how it works? It's not just a story. It's a divine command. The earth goddess, Tharini Pennu, literally demanded blood. This myth explains exactly why that ritual was seen as essential for the tribe's very survival. Now, what's really fascinating is that folklorists actually have a framework for this. The scholar W.R. Bascom laid out 4 key functions of all folklore. It's there to educate, to entertain, to validate the culture's practices, and to enforce social rules. And honestly, Kondh mythology is a perfect case study of all 4 of these in action. You can just see these functions playing out everywhere. There's a myth about duku and drumbeat that acts as a legal code. It explains how the tribe began while at the same time creating a super strong taboo. A simple story about how crows were made, it's really about teaching the value of hard work. And like we just saw, the Maria myth justifies a core ritual. Altogether, these stories build the invisible architecture of the Kondh world. But myths, they're only half the equation. The second pillar of this living library is music. The songs are the community's voice in real time. They are the living, breathing soundtrack to absolutely everything they do. And I really do mean everything. The scope is just huge. You've got songs for religious ceremonies, songs for life's biggest moments like marriage and death, songs for the daily grind of work and courtship, and even songs for social commentary and protest. There is truly a song for every single part of life. These songs just capture the whole spectrum of human feeling. Take a look at this courtship song. It's bursting with joy and admiration. It's a feeling we can all relate to, but expressed with images pulled straight from their own world, hibiscus and jasmine flowers. And then, in the very next breath, they can express the most profound grief. This is a lament sung at a funeral. It's just this raw, incredibly powerful expression of loss. You can feel the weight of it all in that question, how I will make it whole again. And this is crucial. Songs are also a tool for keeping people in line. This is basically a protest song. A wife is publicly calling out her husband for gambling away the family's food. It's such a brilliant way to enforce community standards without needing a formal court. It's social pressure, delivered with a perfect rhythm. So why does any of this really matter? Well, because for the Kondh, this isn't about preserving some dusty old relic from the past. Their folklore, their collection of myths and songs is a dynamic, living system that is actively organizing their society right here, right now. I mean, just look at how this oral library guides a person through their entire life. At birth, a special naming ceremony connects the baby to a specific ancestor, giving them their identity. When they come of age, tattoos and other rituals initiate them into adulthood. Marriage? It's formalized with complex songs and rites. And at death, funerary songs guide the soul to the afterlife, a place they call Petpur. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you see that this oral literature really is their blueprint for society. It's their constitution, their textbook, their social media, their religious scripture, and their family tree, all rolled into one incredible, self-contained system for living. In the end, it really boils down to this simple but profound truth. In a non-literate society, memory is culture, and culture is memory. You can't separate them. To forget a story is to lose a piece of who you are. Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. When one of these stories is forgotten, when a song isn't sung anymore, is it just a story that's been lost? Or is it a law, a piece of history, a fundamental piece of an entire world that has vanished forever?